Welcome to Kojo's Pre-Algebra, and today we're going to be focusing on writing equations of lines given 2 points. So you're missing the slope and the y-intercept. So you're going to have to find each one before you can write the equation of the line in standard form. Remember what standard form is? That's correct. Ax plus by equals c. What are the conditions? Correct. No fractions, and the coefficient of x, which is a, must be positive. So let's move on. Alright, so I want you to remember that the rule of plugging in what you do know to find out what you don't know. If I give you these 2 points and you have no other piece of information, do you see that you have the knowledge to find the slope? Very good. You're going to use these 2 points to find the slope first, because you're missing the slope and the y-intercept, and we got to start somewhere. So I'm going to use, you have to write the slope formula to identify what you're doing so someone can follow you. I am going to title, organize now by data, organize my data as x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. I'm going to plug it in. I get 2 minus 3, 2 minus 3 over 6 minus negative 4, which becomes negative 1 over 10. So my slope is negative 1/10. Okay, write that down. Let's carry it on. Because now we need to find the what? Yes, we need to find the y-intercept. We only have half of what we need to write the equation of the line. So I bring that down, and now I've identified my slope, which is negative 1/10, and I need to use either one of these 2 points to find the y-intercept. Doesn't matter, I should get the same answer either one. But what am I going to use? Slope-intercept formula. So I have to write that down so someone can follow what I'm doing. And I know I'm going to use slope, so y equals negative 1/10. Now here I'm going to look, x, which would be better? You know, I don't want to multiply by negative 4, so I'm going to pick this point. I would still be fine if I used that point, but I'm going to stick to the positive 6. That might get a little sticky. So I'm going to go back here and replace the y with the y coordinate point 2. X is 6, and the slope is negative 1/10 plus b. Now I'm going to simplify. 2 equals, oh boy, look at that, negative 6/10 plus b. I could multiply through here and clear the fraction if I wanted to, or I can see, you know what, I'm going to bring this over, I'm going to simplify this first to what? Negative 3/5. And now I'm going to add 3/5 to both sides, but when I do that, I'm not going to make this a mixed number. And here's where you start to see how it makes more sense if you don't do that, if you leave it as an improper fraction. But to add 3/5 to 2, I have to express this in fifths. So I have 10/5 plus 3/5. Did you see what I did? I could say 2 3/5, but you're going to see why I've always told you it's best to leave it as an improper fraction when you're working. So I'm going to convert 2 to 10/5 and add this, and I get 13/5 equals b. Okay, so now I know that the y-intercept is 13/5, and I know the slope is negative 1/10. So I should be able to write the equation using slope-intercept form. I'm going to write that down. Y equals mx plus b, and here I did it. And if I plug in 2 3/5 here, do you see the problem I'm going to run into? I'm going to have negative 1/10 as the fraction of the slope, and I would have 2 3/5, and I would have to then, because I got to clear that fraction, then I would have to convert it back to an improper fraction. So it's just easier to leave it as an improper fraction. You notice again, once we use the 2 points to find the slope, and then we used one of the points to find the y-intercept, we're done with those to write the equation of the line. We're done. We don't use those again. They were only 2 points of information in order to find the slope and the y-intercept. We wanted to manipulate those to find out what we needed. Then we're done with them. So when we plug into y equals mx plus b, we only plug in the slope and the y-intercept. I'm going to multiply through by 10 to clear my fractions because this is fifths. And I get 10y equals negative x plus 26. I have to remember this is the distributive property. 10 times negative 1/10 x plus 13y. And again, this is all the work you need to show. You do need to write the formula, slope-intercept form, so you know somebody can follow what you're doing. And then you can manipulate here, carrying the x to the other side, and x plus 10y equals 26. We can check this to make sure. You can always do a quick check. These were original points. And these original points are telling us that they are on the graph of this linear equation. They're on the line to make it true. If these 2 points don't make this true, you made a mistake somewhere. So it's always worthwhile plugging them in to see. So if x is 2 and y is, if x is 6 and y is 2, we have 6 plus 20 is 26. That checks. And if x is negative 4 and y is 3, we have negative 4 plus 30 equals 26. That checks. So the equation on this line is correct. So what I want you to do is I want you to try this one. It's going to be a difficult one. It's given 2 points, negative 4, negative 6, and the point 5, 2. Good luck. Pause the video. Don't stop it because it'll go back to the beginning. Pause the video, and when you're done, come back. All right, welcome back. I showed all my work on this one. That's a lot of work for one problem, isn't it? But that's what you're going to have to do. The first thing we did was we had to use the slope formula to find the slope. I've organized my data and labeled everything as x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. Remember, it doesn't matter. You could have done x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2. It depends on how much you're planning ahead. So when I plug it in, I get the slope as m-ninths. Now that is something to think about. Because now I got this fraction that's kind of awkward, 8/9. That's unusual. I mean, it's not unusual, but you know what I mean. You haven't been working with difficult numbers. But I need to know the slope. No, I got the slope. I need to know the y-intercept. So I pick one of these 2 points. You know what? These are both negative. I'm choosing to pick the point 5, 2. It doesn't matter. You'll get the correct answer whichever point you use. So I'm going to plug in the point and the slope into y equals mx plus b form, slope-intercept form, in order to solve for b. Here, I end up when I multiply 8/9 times 5, because the x-coordinate is 5 when the y-coordinate is 2, and I get 40/9. I'm going to leave this as an improper fraction, and I'm going to convert 2 into 18/9 so that I can subtract 40/9 from it and get negative 22/9 is b. I'm going to leave that as an improper fraction. All of those little comments I've made all year where I say we want to leave it as an improper fraction unless it's a word problem, and you'll see why later. Well, here's the later and here's the why. Because when I plug the y-intercept in, again, we don't need these 2 points anymore. We're done. We only use those as a means to an end to find out the slope and the y-intercept. We're done with them. To write the equation of a line, we use slope-intercept formula and the slope and the y-intercept. So we plug it in, and I get y equals 8/9 x equals negative 22/9. If I have a mixed number, I would need to convert it to an improper fraction so I don't make a careless mistake of multiplying by 9. Okay? So I leave it as an improper fraction. I'm going to clear my fraction by multiplying through everything by 9. Remember, on this side, this is the distributive property. 9, we'd be left with 9y equals 8x minus 22. And at this point in time, I'm going to say I'm going to bring the 9y over, subtract it, and I'm going to take the 22 to the other side, and I got 8x minus 9y equals 22. Now, to be sure that I didn't make any mistakes, because that's a lot of work, so that's a lot, that problem's worth quite a bit of points. I hope you can see it's 8 to 10 points on a test. I'm going to go back and I'm going to plug these in. Well, if x is negative 4 and y is negative 6, okay, 8 times negative 4 is negative 32. Negative 9 times negative 6 is 54. Negative 32 plus 54 is 22. Great, check. I'm also going to plug in this point, just to make sure. I'd probably be safe to stop there, but I like details. So I'm going to just do it in my head. 8 times 5 is 40, minus 9 times 2 is 18. 40 minus 18, 22. Got it. That's the correct equation. I'm in great shape. No fractions. The coefficient is positive on the standard form of ax plus by equals c. Write down 2 things you've learned about writing equations of lines given 2 points, and bring in a question of anything that you're still confused about or you still want to know more about. And I'll see you in class. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.